Welcome back, everybody, to the D.O.G podcast. My name is Drew. As always, I'm with German and OC. And today we're going to talk a little bit about NFL, as usual. And I'm going to try to figure out why the hell I picked the Saints over the Ravens.
It's all right, man. You're not the only one in that boat. Let's talk about how Jeff Saturday just got hired with the Colts. And I might as well just start filling out my application for head coach somewhere in the NFL. Because he and I have just as much coaching experience as over the past few years, so I might as well go ahead and apply, see whoever hires me.
You might have more experience than he does.
I think so. He's coached for 3 years? Yeah.
Yeah, you probably have more high school experience than he does.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember when I read the tweet that he was going to be the head coach. Instantly, I'm thinking of the Soldier Boy. Who? Yeah.
It's a weird
left
hire,
field, bro.
It's a weird hire.
Left field.
Do you guys think with them firing Frank Wright, do you guys think it was a little premature? It was a little kind of a weird reaction. Let's see. What do you think, man?
Well, I mean, they fired the OC Brady last week, right? And then they sat Matt Ryan right after that, right? So it was the writing was on the wall. Frank Reich was just basically trying to do anything possible to save his job. And at the end, it was nothing was going to save that team. That offense is pretty terrible. Mm-hmm. And coming from, a guy that he left that Philly team, right? He was the OC, right, when they won the Super Bowl. So it was kind of
right.
He thought he was going to bring the magic. And, to a certain extent, he did. He took them to the playoffs, right? With Phillip Rivers 2 years ago, right? And then they blew their playoff chances on the last game of the year last year against the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
So, he won games, and he wasn't terrible. He just, this season, for whatever reason, it's just abysmal, down the drain, god-awful.
Right. Everything kind of just fell apart during this year. Last year they had one of the best defenses in the league, and they kind of you can kind of make the argument that Frank Wright never had the answer at quarterback. Maybe it's a personnel issue, so you kind of start looking at the GM that, you never kind of made the right move. They made a move for Carson Wentz, right? And which kind of at the time seemed like it made sense. that was the guy that you took to the Super Bowl. You made him look like an MVP before he got hurt, so it made sense. But then, I don't know where. OC or Drew, do you think it was a little premature? Or do you think this was a long time coming?
Yeah, I do, because he's had two con artists at quarterback this season and last season, in my opinion. Carson Wentz is a joke, and Matt Ryan, that dude just absolutely fell off the map after he lost the Super Bowl. Pre Super Bowl Matt Ryan, that dude was a dude, and now he is as good as a Division III high school quarterback.
Jesus.
Come on, bro. He's not the guy he used to be, and I think that's really what you got to blame. You look at Carson Wentz's coach Ron Rivera now, right? They asked Ron Rivera why can't they compete in the NFC East, and he's like, quarterback. It's the quarterback. They got quarterbacks, we don't, and it's the same quarterback that he had last year, in Indianapolis. So yeah, I think it's a little premature. I think he just got kind of a short end of the stick with the quarterback situation.
Yeah. Do you guys think that Jeff Saturday move? Because it kind of. I feel like there's kind of a trend going on, or kind of a common theme where okay, they make the Jeff Saturday move. They already benched Matt Ryan. Are the Colts kind of tanking here? Does it kind of look that way? Because we got a pretty deep quarterback class coming up in this next draft. Does it look that way? Do you guys think?
When you bench your quarterback that you went out and paid before the halfway point of the season, it looks like you're kind of done. It looks like you're throwing on the white flag, in my opinion. You're starting a rookie quarterback with probably one of the best running backs in the league still in the backfield, so it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense other than they're just kind of throwing on the white flag, they're not going to compete.
Mm-hmm. OC, what do you think? You think it's a tanking job?
If they sit Jonathan Taylor the rest of the year, it is. But as of right now, I still think they're actually trying. But, when you bring in Jeff Saturday, who has no NFL experience coaching, that looks like you're just pretty much just saying, hey, we're just going to lay here and roll over and just take us for a ride wherever we go. But, I mean, like, there's plenty of guys on that staff that could have taken over, and I just don't understand. You bring, like, he wasn't even, like, I get he played for the Colts for, like, ever, right? But this dude had no NFL coaching experience. Like, it's kind of just like, it sounds like Jim Irsay basically said, well, I have a good relationship with him, so I'm going to bring him in.
Yeah.
Right.
How insulting is it to all the other assistant coaches on that team? Like, how are you supposed to have faith in your boss now? Like, there's so many qualified guys that could have taken over, finished the season, you know? And, no, we're just going to hire a guy that's been sitting behind a desk for the last few years to do this job and hopefully fix this franchise.
Is Jeff Saturday just straight up walking into the building and he's like, hey, does anybody have any ideas? Like, I mean, the dude legit doesn't know what he's gotten himself into.
He's going to bring in his Madden 23 game and
the Madden 23
playbook.
I've heard some stuff before too, where like the past couple of years they actually tried getting him on staff. I think last year they tried to getting him on as their offensive line coach, and even the year before. Do you think maybe if Jim Irsay was kind of thinking this way, like, oh, maybe I can get this guy in, doesn't it make sense that he would have taken the job 2 years ago as an assistant and then become the interim head coach? Like, wouldn't that make more sense instead of just essentially pick him up off the street?
If he had aspirations to be a coach, then yeah, that would make sense. He would have accepted the job when it was offered to him a couple years ago, got his foot in the door. But it seems like it was just like, hey, do you think you can babysit this team until the season ends and I can find a real head coach? That's kind of really what it seems like, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
go ahead.
I think I was reading, I think the biggest insult is if you're going to bring in a guy, an ex-pro, an ex-Colt, Reggie Wayne is on staff as a receivers coach. How do you overlook one of the best Colts receivers of all time and just, hey, we're going to bring a guy that coached high school like earlier this year or 2 years ago, but Reggie Wayne, who played in the NFL as an all-pro, is actually on staff, isn't going to get a shot.
Yeah, and that's what I thought it was weird because, I mean, like you guys said, there's so many qualified guys who are already on staff and have some experience. When you're already this deep into the season, you kind of just have to get a guy who's already just been there and knows everybody in the building just to kind of just take over and lead in the right direction, right? Like, look what the Raiders did last year with OC, what's his name?
Bisaccia.
I like the way OC says it a little bit better. No.
He doesn't do it with
the little. He's got to do it with the Versace. But I mean, you see what he did, and then he was even able to squeeze him into the playoffs. Like, wouldn't it make more sense doing it that rather than just getting some guy off the street who probably doesn't even know anybody in the building? Right?
German, how dare you? How dare you make some actual logical sense?
He knows the right person.
Go ahead.
He knows the right person, which is the owner. That's the only person he needs to know. It's all about who you know, right?
Yeah. Just about, man.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah, I mean, and then who do you look to after that? Now, like, with all these qualified candidates probably at the end of the year, who's going to take that job now? With all this media attention, I mean, you're not going to be able to pull any quality candidates, right? Now that you kind of look at your owner and you're just like, oh shit, he's kind of making some boneheaded moves. Do you guys think that he can pull some quality coaches in?
Well, didn't I could be wrong, but I could have sworn that I heard Max Kellerman say this morning that the owner kind of alluded that he might roll with Jeff even into like the next season. Like, he thinks that if Jeff can win a couple of games, prove himself, that he should be a candidate for the head coaching job next season. And then they talked about the whatchamacallit rule where you have to interview a minority head coach, right? And then they were like, is he going to like dance around that because he hired him this season? And so that was kind of a conversation I saw on ESPN this morning. But yeah, I'm not too sure. It's an awkward situation. Yeah, no one's gonna want to go interview for that position with an owner making some pretty dumb and far out of left field moves.
Right. OC, what do you think, man?
The quote, and I want to get the quote right, that if you guys didn't hear the press conference, he said, "Look, he said, end quote, we're the fourth. He said, end quote, look, we're the fourth winningest franchise in the league since 2000. That means we're in the upper quartile of winners. We're in the top quartile of the quartile." What does that even mean? I get that I get that you win games. Like, yes, like that's because you had Peyton Manning there for about 12, 13 years.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like his quote,
and only won one Super Bowl out of it.
Yeah, and the quote, it was just like, I don't know where he was pulling these words out of. Like, he's like, yeah, we're in the top percent of the top percent of the top percent. Like, okay, dude, like, we get it. Like, your franchise has won, and it's because you had stability at the quarterback position, but the last 13 years you haven't won anything.
That's insane, dude. That's like us saying we're the top quartile of the podcast and the top quartile of a podcast century.
Yeah,
it's just...
If you know your stuff, you know?
Yeah, dude, it's just... This guy, I mean, he's kind of making the rest of the league look like a joke, right? When you kind of you're able to just hire your buddy as an NFL head coach, right?
Well, then
what does that say to all the other coaches?
Well, that's where the whole Rooney Rule came, and everybody was bringing that up. Like, how does the Rooney Rule not apply to this? But apparently it doesn't apply to interim head coaches because, the Rooney Rule, you have to bring in a coach of a minority, right, to interview for the job. But, like, I guess it didn't apply to the interim position. But there's a lot of people saying, like, there's plenty of minority head coaches around the league that deserved way faster a shot at a head coaching job, even if it was just an interim job, than Jeff Saturday, who was doing ESPN like 2-3 times a week.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, if Jerry Jones did this and brought in Tony Romo, I'd be thrilled.
You'd be thrilled if they just hired Tony Romo.
If Jerry Jones hired Tony Romo just like that, I'd be so excited. I would think that we finally got a head coach that can win a Super Bowl.
But how
Kinda
many
seems like a Jerry Jones type of move.
Okay, but how many guys in that building would be upset that Tony Romo just got picked up out of the TV booth and placed in a spot above everybody
Almost
else?
None. I don't think
What about Keller, your guys' offensive coordinator?
Wait, you don't...
I don't think. I think as soon as Tony, Kellen Moore might be a little upset, but I think he's going to be a little upset because now Tony Romo is going to be making shots. He's going to be making calls. But I would take Tony Romo's play calling over Kellen Moore right now, and Tony Romo hasn't called a play as a coach in the NFL.
Well, I mean, technically, Jeff Saturday has more head coaching experience than Tony Romo, right?
Yeah, what Division 4 high school?
Division 4 high school. Yeah, it's a weird move for sure, dude. It's just, but what if Jeff Saturday just turns it around and he just like doofies everybody, and he played us all for a fool, and he actually goes down the line and wins some games. What then? Like, does everybody kind of just put their foot in their mouth?
I don't know. They got the Cowboys in a couple of weeks. I'll be watching that game.
And it's kind of weird because they have a decent roster, right? They have a really good defense. They have at least a top 10 defense, right, in the league right now. You have DeForest Buckner. You have Leonard there. You have Stephon Gilmore on the outside. I mean, is it kind of weird that they're making this hire now, and it kind of looks like they're going to start tanking? Or if the plan was to tank, wouldn't have you done this a lot sooner and just start selling your assets?
This Colts team reminds me a lot of the Los Angeles Lakers. There's some pretty decent talent on there, and for some reason they're dog shit. So I really have no explanation. So maybe that's why the owner is going with, hey, I got the guys I think that can lead us to a championship. Got to get rid of the head coach.
It's weird.
The craziest part is they got a 30-year-old kid, Parks Frazier, calling plays this Sunday. So that's who's calling plays, a 30-year-old dude.
Nice. Dude, we might as well start filling out our application right now.
I'm just saying.
Hey, they're starting. Hey, OC, they're starting our boy Sam though from Texas. Hook 'em, baby.
Hey, again, huh? Well, they're not going to go back to Matt Ryan's shot arm.
No, they're not going back to his fucking spaghetti arm that's barely hanging on.
Speaking of shot arms, should we talk about the elbow in Buffalo, the biggest talk on the street right now? You see that, German?
No, I didn't see that. Enlighten me.
Oh, Josh Allen could potentially have a torn, was it a UCL or USL?
Oh, shit.
Which
No, I
is,
didn't
which is
hear
a
that.
ligament in your elbow.
Oh, no. And it's
It's
throwing
most common in baseball, which is a surgery called the Tommy John surgery.
the Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
And he would be done for the rest of the year, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a year recovery, and then it takes like 6 months to a year to actually get back to where you were at.
Oh, no.
But based off
that does not look good.
what they said today, they called it a sprain, so it's a slight tear. So now the biggest question today was, do you protect your franchise quarterback from himself, or do you let him write it out? Because Josh Allen's going to want to play.
Right.
But
They got the
as a
Vikings this week,
franchise-
right?
As a franchise, do you step in and just be like, hey, let's monitor this, take this week off, take next week off, and we'll go from there?
Well, it's like the Tua situation all over again, right? Because if you leave it up to the player is going to say, "Oh, yeah, I'm good. I can keep going. I'm going to start rolling with the boys," you know. But I mean, you also think about it. A guy with like Aaron Rodgers who knows he has an injury, he's probably going to sit one out. Maybe he's got a little bit more experience, different personality. He's a little bit older. Do you think Josh Allen makes that call? He thinks maybe
No.
like, hey, no.
Josh is a gamer. No way he's putting himself out. And I don't think that the Bills will sit him, because I think the Bills are a little scared right now. I think that they lost to the Dolphins and they lost to the Jets in their own division, and this big lead that they had at the beginning of the season is gone. Both those teams are right behind them, and so I think that they're a little paranoid. They got the 7-1 Vikings this week,
Right.
so I think they're a little nervous. I think that they play him, which I hope he doesn't get hurt, man, because Josh Allen's a special kid. But it's a serious injury. Like if it gets worse, it won't be good. It won't be good for the Bills.
And that's why I think the opposite.
Oh, see, what do you think?
You sit him now. You hope this tear rebuilds itself, and you protect him from himself. Because, like, say they don't win at worst they don't win the division, right? They're a wild card team. I don't think they're scared to play anybody anywhere. All right, they already went into KC
No, they're not.
and beat KC. They already went to Baltimore and beat Baltimore. All right. Miami, it was early season struggles. I mean, it's like the third game of the year, and then it was the heat, right? It's not going to be that hot in January.
Right.
But
I mean,
like,
both of those games that they lost came down to the wire, right? It wasn't like it was a complete blowout.
Yeah, no,
win.
it wasn't.
Like it was like
Yeah.
it came down to the final play. Yeah.
yeah, and they're,
Yeah,
they're
I get what you're saying.
aside from the game on Sunday, their next game is versus Cleveland and then at Detroit. I think you can survive without Josh Allen for 3 weeks, you know?
Yeah.
I think you're 100% right. I think that's a smart move, but I don't think that's the move that a greedy team would make. I think Buffalo is tired of being second best, and I just have a feeling in me that they're going to try and ride it as far as Josh Allen can go this season, and I just hope that it doesn't turn out bad for him.
And that's where I kind of disagree with you, because I think they're probably tired of being second best, but I think they have a head coach especially who's in position to make these kind of decisions, and I think he's going to make the right decision. You know, they got Bill Burr over there freaking making their decisions. You know,
Bill Burr.
So, but I mean, I feel like they're an organization who has it under control, and they can take these obstacles during the season and make the right decision. I feel like I agree with OC. It's like, okay, well, you sit them maybe a couple of weeks. Worst case scenario, you don't win the division, but you still make a wild card spot, or and you who knows, you make a run, right? And then you're probably going to play a team in the first round who's probably worse than you. You know, either way. So I think they're going to make a run. I think if they were to sit Josh Allen, I think that would be the right call for sure.
OC begging for them to sit Josh Allen. Dolphins going to win the division.
No,
That's
I
all
don't.
OC.
Hey,
hears
I have
over.
him on my fantasy team. I want him to play, but for the franchise's sake, you don't.
Don't you have Russell
don't
Wilson?
Let him play. No, I have Josh Allen starting, so I'm kind of in a pickle now.
Well, I know, but isn't your backup ready to ride?
Oh no, I cut him.
Let's ride, Mr.
I
Let's
cut him a
Ride.
couple weeks ago. He was
cut-
cut a couple weeks ago.
You cut Dangerous?
You cut Mr. Unlimited?
Yeah, once I found out
Dangerous.
that his teammates couldn't get through to him, that they had to go through his reps, I was out. I was like, you're a B guy, huh? You're
Oh,
one of
he
the-
said this guy's doing lunges in the aisle on the airplane.
He's doing high knees.
Nah.
Get rid of him.
Hey, call my secretary.
I don't know
and I'll get back to you.
I don't know if you
That's
guys
what he
heard the
said.
story, but I think it's a rumor. I don't think it's necessarily true. But supposedly that he's trying to get to the point where he no longer poops, where he like absorbs all his energy. It's some regimen that he's only pooping like once a week or something like that. And then he's
Maybe
like,
if he shat
and
more,
it's
he'd
like-
actually win.
and that's what I was thinking. I was like, do you think he's playing like terrible because he's just like super constipated like
So
all
you
the
got
time?
you got Aaron Rodgers taking hallucinogens, right? This special tea.
The
You got-
ayahuasca, yeah.
You got Russell Wilson refusing to shit. Tom Brady is going through a divorce. What the fuck is going on in the NFL?
I think they're guys going through their midlife crisis, right? Like they're just but then they have a bunch of money. They got to do some like crazy shit.
All these Super Bowl champions just fucking going through it right now.
Right.
All right, so we're at the
It
halfway
makes me
point,
wonder what.
right? All right,
Right.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was gonna just talk more shit. It wasn't probably gonna be that funny.
Shit, that's funny. It's a pun. More shit.
I was just gonna say we're at the halfway point, right? Or 9 games in, or 9 weeks in now. So, let's go. Just teams that surprised us. I'll start off
In a good way
Seattle.
or in a bad way?
Good way. Seattle.
Oh,
Okay.
in a good way. Seattle. Giants
Gino-
for sure.
Okay.
You guys,
go ahead.
You guys are picking the only good teams. I'm
So, like,
surprised.
You could. All right. Well, then pick a bad one.
You could agree.
Pick a terrible
You
one.
could agree.
I mean, I agree with that. I'm going to say the Cowboys, after week 1, I think the Cowboys are pretty surprising to me. The situation that they
Okay,
were...
pass.
That they were
Go see,
All
you
right,
keep going.
dude. Dang, Homer.
Come on. I mean...
Well, you want me to sit there and
your
be like,
franchise...
This is the guy who's saying that he wants Tony Romo as his head coach. You just lost all credibility for this podcast episode. True,
It could be worse. I could be an Eagles fan.
that's true too.
the
But
undefeated
you were
Eagles?
I'd rather be where I'm at right now.
the fraud
my
Eagles,
God.
The frauds.
who has a worse quarterback than Daniel Jones.
I said who was more impressive, Daniel
Okay.
Jones or Jalen Hurts? And what Daniel Jones has done with the Giants is more impressive than what Jalen Hurts has done with the Eagles.
Okay, I'll give you that one. OC, you're going to bring up Geno Smith and how he's fucking playing like the new Russell Wilson over there in Seattle. What do you
Well,
think, man? Do you think like he kind of revived his career a little bit?
Well, I think like he was a grinder, right? He was a first round pick, right, when he was with the Jets when he came out of West Virginia.
Yeah.
And, like he kind of fizzled out, and then he was just bouncing around the league being a backup, and he found his home right last year with Seattle, and then this year they brought in Drew
Right.
Lock. He wasn't even supposed to be the starter. Drew Lock was supposed to beat him out, right? But based off of training camp and everything that Pete Carroll was saying, like Geno won the job. And some of the quotes that I've been reading is Pete Carroll is definitely taking shots at Russell this week.
Oh,
Just
fuck
talking
yeah.
Oh,
about-
for sure.
Yeah, just talking about stuff like how, like, you know, well, now we got a guy that actually follows the play call from his OC, you know? Like, I was like, damn, this is serious. And they go, oh, yeah, our quarterback and OC relationship are really good, you know, that he calls the plays that are actually being called into his headset. He doesn't do his own thing. So I was like, wow. So without taking shots, without saying names, he said names, you know?
Yeah.
Let's be real. I mean, Sierra was fucking calling those plays. You know, she's calling plays on and off the field for Russ at this point.
Probably. I mean,
All right. Okay, I
Go
got
ahead.
my impressive. It's not a team. It's a person. I think the person that has really impressed me, especially as of late, is Justin Fields. He doesn't have a winning record, but I think he's really growing into an elite level quarterback. I think I've watched him the last few weeks. He is damn near untouchable when he gets outside the pocket. He's a monster, so he's not afraid to take a hit, and he's slinging the ball pretty good. I think that the Bears are just a couple of pieces away from being decent contenders in the NFC North.
Yeah, it was those pieces that they traded away.
Offensive pieces.
Well, I mean,
they got Chase Claypool now.
Yeah, but the problem on Sunday was that those pieces that they traded away probably could have helped stop the Dolphins.
Would have helped them.
Would have stopped Miami
for sure. I mean, he's making good plays. He's making good strides. I thought he was a steal in the draft last year. A lot of people thought he went too high. I thought he was a good steal because of just the raw talent. I mean, the dude's crazy athletic. Let's not kid ourselves. And he's got a strong arm and he's got legs. And I mean, he can kind of develop into maybe like a Josh Allen type of guy. I mean, guys, people forget that Josh Allen's first 2 years were like terrible in Buffalo, right? Like it was like down to his third season. Everybody was like, if he doesn't prove himself this year, he's done. And then his third year, he just went off.
He kind of reminds me a lot of like an early Cam Newton.
A little bit,
like a successful Cam Newton. Maybe not as big, but still kind of has that same like mentality. I think.
Just about, but I think it's just maybe just more of Chicago playing into his skill set. I feel like with Matt Nagy the year before, it's just they kind of just try to get him to do things that he wasn't comfortable with doing. I mean, he's not reading great defenses over there in the Big Ten, right? Like he's basic college teams, and then you expect him to make Pro Bowl reads. And I think it wasn't as a skill set, and now they're getting him out of the pocket, they're moving him around, and they're giving him easy throws. And I think it's just all coaching, man. It really is, especially with those young quarterbacks. You guys got anything to add
on Justin Fields?
No, I do agree with you guys though. Geno Smith,
Saints. Whatever. Any more impressive guys?
Daniel Jones, the Giants, pretty impressive.
Let's look at the top two teams in each conference. So, top two teams in each conference, we got AFC, Buffalo, KC, right? Normal. We figured that'd be there. You look at the NFC though, you got the Eagles and Vikings. The Vikings' only loss is to Philly. Now, if you told me at the midway point that those two were going to be at the top of the NFC, I would have bet, nah, that ain't going to happen. I don't. You're talking about the Bucks, the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Niners. None of those three is up there, So, I mean, credit to whatever Kirk Cousins is doing over there, putting chains on the airplane.
On the airplane?
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is the coolest white dude, and you like that. Don't be.
If you're a Vikings fan, I'm just telling you, enjoy it while you can before Kirk Cousins goes full Kirk Cousins and costs you guys a playoff game.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Out of all these teams who have had awesome years and we didn't expect, like the Giants, the Jets, all these guys, which team do you guys think is more likely just to go ahead and just dip off the second half of the season? Because it's a long NFL season, right? Who do you guys think is actually more likely? Okay, why?
Because they still got to play the Eagles twice, and they got to play the Cowboys one more time. And I don't know. Daniel Jones has been impressive, but I want to see it to continue to last. It's been an impressive 8 games. You won 6 out of your 8, but what can you do the next 7? So I think maybe him. I think maybe the easy pick is Seattle, but they still got to play a couple of teams at the West that aren't playing that well. So I'm going to say the Giants.
OC, what do you think?
I'm going to say the Jets, and just based off of the quarterback play. So I don't think Zach Wilson will be able to I mean, when at some point he's going to have to go win a game. And the dude's in the bottom of the league at QBR and yards, and just sometimes he makes some terrible reads. So at some point, your quarterback is going to have to make a play, and he's not a dude right now. So I think that defense is good. That defense is going to alone keep them in games. But Zach Wilson is probably going to be the reason why they don't get to that, or they don't make the playoffs.
I'm actually gonna. That was actually the team that I was gonna pick was the Jets, and I think it's the same reason that you say because it's Zach Wilson. I mean, I almost feel like that he was kind of overreached, definitely in the draft. I mean, just because of his. I mean, he only got drafted that high because of his raw talent, right? Because he's got the big arm, but he is kind of undersized. He's kind of injury prone, and he's making some terrible reads out there. I mean, you see what he did. I think what game was it? Was against the Patriots where he just had a terrible game this year. And I feel like there's other situations where it was the same thing. And yeah, like you said, that defense is raw, and I feel like Zach Wilson's probably going to be the guy who's going to contribute most to their downfall for sure.
All right,
Drew, you going to say something?
No, I was just looking at all the standings, and there's not a lot of good teams in the NFL this year. There's way more shitty teams in the NFL than there's good teams.
It's not necessarily that they're shitty teams, but it's just I wouldn't say necessarily that they're terrible. It's just it's hyper competitive. Anybody can beat anybody at any given moment, right? Like look at the Niners situation. I mean, they rolled the Rams twice, but then they go and they cough it up against Atlanta or Chicago.
Yeah,
right?
but that's Jimmy G's MO. Like that's what Jimmy G does.
Yeah.
Like you look at that. You look at the NFC South. Every team is bad, and for some reason, Tom Brady's struggling.
I mean,
you look at the Cardinals, Rams. They're bad. Commanders, they're bad. I mean, there's a lot of bad teams there.
Well, I texted you guys Sunday, like watching that Rams Bucks game. That is not competitive. Like both offenses look terrible. Like the Rams had a chance on 3rd and 5 to close out the game, and they run a run play for about half a yard when you got Cooper Kupp, who's probably the top one of the top 3 receivers in the league, and you can't throw him a little route where he can pick up 5 yards or he can catch it on a key screen and take off for another 4 yards. You put it into the hands of a guy,
a jet sweep, anything.
And then what happens? They punt it. Tom Brady goes down with 50 seconds, no timeouts, and wins the game. So it's like, and Tom Brady had done nothing up to that point. They had 2 field goals in the game, or 3 field goals.
Right.
Shout out to Suck Up.
What do you guys think it is? Do you guys think it's just maybe just personnel issues that these teams are having, or do you guys just is it coaching? Is it the players? What do you guys think it is in the NFC?
I don't know. I still think that there's a lot of good defensive teams in the NFC. I think we talked about this like week 3, how the defenses are really outshining a lot of the NFC. Cowboys and Eagles have really good defenses. The Vikings got a good defense. The Niners and Seahawks have pretty good defenses. There's no side on any NFC South team that's good. But I don't know. I think that the defense, it just seems like a lot of defensive teams are doing really, really well this year.
Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead. Let's move on to the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. And it's just like kind of like the theme we started earlier with these head coaches that got fired. Who do you guys think is next? I mean, we've talked about the top of the league now. Let's talk about the bottom of the league. Which coach do you guys think is more likely right now to lose their job?
Mr. Las Vegas.
Yeah.
The Raiders.
Fired.
Hands down.
Do you think he's got one more chance?
No.
If you lose to the interim head coach, you're out.
Right. I mean, you gave up it was your third 17 point lead that you've given up to lose, right? Something like that. What is it that they're losing games in this fashion? Like, do you guys think it's just they're not running the ball? Josh Jacobs is one of the leading rushers. He's like top 5 leading rushers in the NFL right now. What do you guys think it is?
I really don't. I think the defense is complete dog shit, and your head coach can't make a quality call to save your life. I really don't know. There's so many questions around that team that it's just kind of mind-blowing to me.
Devontae Adams said it in his press conference after the game. He said, I'm not trying to take shots at my coaches. I love my coaches. He's all, but if I'm feeling the game and me and Derek are feeling it, why are we getting away from that? So he took a shot at his coach without taking a shot at his coach. So he basically called out Josh McDaniels. They were tearing them up with the pass game, and then they just completely got away from it in the second half, and that was what ended up beating them.
I don't know. I was watching that game, and they did kind of go away from him a little bit, but there were times where he could have made plays, or where Carr could have made plays, but then he was like double covered, triple covered in situations, and then Carr kept trying to force passes into it. I think he had like 5 or 6 incomplete passes, directed towards Devontae Adams. Right? I feel like there were situations where they could have at least chewed the clock out, because they kept going to him. It wasn't necessarily that they completely stopped. They stopped after it wasn't working anymore. So I mean, I wouldn't necessarily just put it all on the play calling. And like Drew said, that defense is fucking terrible. I mean, the only defensive player that they have that's good is Max Crosby. That's it. What do you guys think about Cliff Kingsbury and the Cardinals? Do you guys think maybe he's a little bit on the hot seat? I mean, they're 3-6 right now. They've kind of not looked all that great this year. What do you guys think?
That's tough because of, I know we called them frauds last year, and they were, but that's tough to like really blame the head coach. I think when he had such a pretty good year last year, do I think that he's elite? Maybe not really. I think he's better than some coaches are in the NFL, but I think that I don't think that he's quite in the hot seat just yet.
Let's see. What do you think, man?
I mean, they gave an extension to the GM and to Cliff Kingsbury during the offseason, so it's going to be very hard to... I mean, if he keeps losing, you have to fire him, obviously, but...
Right.
Like you made a commitment to the coach, right? And then you paid Kyler all this money as well, so if you finish dead last in your division behind Geno Smith, I think, people are calling for your name.
More shots at Geno Smith, dude.
It's funny. You got 2 Super Bowl quarterbacks in second and third place, and Geno Smith, and then there's you.
Hey, dude, Geno Smith needs more credit for this.
He does need more credit.
Hey,
I just want to point out, Kyler Murray 0-2 since Call of Duty came out.
Not
Hey,
bad.
so
Go ahead.
I said, talking about Arizona, they're I think it came out tonight. They start their HBO series, right? The middle of the year, where they're following them around, right? It's kind of like a Hard Knocks version.
Oh,
So
really?
Is that on HBO?
Yeah, it'll be on HBO. So I show.
I want to see Kyler Murray gaming, bro.
I showed you the clip, Andrew, where Buda Baker was giving that speech after the game. That he's tired
that's what
of
that
losing.
was?
Yes. So Buda Baker was giving this like heartfelt speech, how he's tired of losing and people need to watch film and they need to put in more effort. And I sit there and I clipped one of the touchdowns that Kenneth Walker scored on Sunday to Andrew, and I said, look at Buda Baker walk down in front of the tackle and get just washed down and completely trucked and annihilated by the right tackle.
It was bad.
And he wants to talk about, we need to watch, or all of you need to watch film. Like, bro, you're the one who took a terrible leverage and didn't realize it was a zone replay.
I said it immediately to you right after. I can't take him serious with one eye black. One eye black strip, and you're screaming and yelling, you're spitting everywhere, you're getting washed at the line.
Yeah.
Can't take you serious, bro.
He's the same one that got caught by DK last year, right? Or 2 years ago?
Right, when he had like that pick six.
Yeah.
When DK comes
just
flying out of nowhere.
Yeah. Right. Anything else you guys want to add? Any topics you guys want to bring up?
Which 3-win team has a shot to make the playoffs in the NFC? The Rams, the Saints, the Packers, the Cardinals, or the Bears?
None of the above?
The above.
Well, somebody's got to make it 1, 2,
maybe
3,
the
4, 5.
maybe the Rams because of the division that they're in. Because the division's not all that hot. I'm trying to think of anybody else. I think
they already
maybe
got the 2
they
Niner
will be
games
probably
out of
the
the
most
way.
likely. Right. Maybe them. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think the Rams, because they don't have to play the Niners again, but I think it's very unlikely. I don't think with McCaffrey the Niners choke it this year. I think the Niners get a wild card spot, the Giants get a wild card spot, and the Cowboys or Eagles get a wild card spot. So I don't know. I don't see anyone that's got 3 wins right now making the playoffs.
I mean, it might
The only chance, I think the realistic chance is the Saints that have 3 wins to win the division.
because of the division they're in, right?
Yeah, because they're only a game behind the Bucks.
Right.
Well,
I would agree with him,
holds that.
but
San Francisco holds that last spot at 4-4.
right.
How? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but really, I mean, the Rams are, even though they're a game behind the Niners, they also lose the tiebreaker, right? So they're 2 games behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I can see where Drew's coming from with the Saints and that they're only a game back behind the Bucks. I mean, you never know. I mean, but it's Andy Dalton. I don't know if what's his name, Jameis Winston's going to come back healthy.
When is he coming back?
Right. That's the thing. If he ever comes back, right? And if he does come back, is he going to be all rusty, or you kind of just keep rolling with Andy Dalton because they look good with Andy Dalton and what's his name?
What, 3-6? 3-6 looks good?
No, I mean their offense looks decent enough, right? I mean, but I mean with Jameis Winston, it's like you're kind of flipping the coin, right? Like you highest of highs and lowest of lows, right?
Hey, Jameis Winston will throw 20 touchdowns and 20 interceptions.
20 interceptions, that's what I mean, yeah. Anything else you guys want to bring up, or that's about it?
I got one for you. Mid-season MVP.
Go ahead. Geno Smith. Hands down.
Whoa.
Geno Smith. Nah, I don't know. Patrick Mahomes is fucking pretty legit. And we owe Patrick Mahomes an apology because we didn't even bring him up in the conversation when we were discussing the MVPs earlier this year. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Out of spite, I want to take Tyreek Hill because I don't want to pick the quarterback that's A&O.
I'll take him. Jalen Hurts, A&O.
Jalen Hurts. There you go. All right, you guys want to go ahead and get into the picks
Daniel
already?
Jones.
Daniel Jones,
Yeah.
Danny Dimes.
Yeah, let's do the
All right, let's go into those picks.
Let's
How the
go.
fuck the Eagles got another primetime game?
Yeah, they got Monday night.
I feel like they haven't had that many. I don't know who keeps giving Denver primetime games, dude.
I don't fucking know, dude.
They need to stop that shit.
Whoever thought before the schedule thought dangerous in Denver, give that man prime time. Fucking stupid.
Okay, let's go. Let's get into the picks. The Falcons and the Panthers, man.
Hold on, let me get a coin.
The upper echelon of football, right there. What did Jim Mary say earlier? The upper echelons of whatever.
The top
upper
quartile.
This is the upper
quartile.
Yeah, this is the top quartile. If there's another quartile, the top of that, this is where that game should be. The
right.
Falcons and the Panthers.
This
Thursday
is-
night football at its finest.
This is going to be, who was it a couple of weeks ago that it was like 7-6 in the fourth quarter on Thursday night? Was that the
was
Browns
Washington and Bears.
Commanders, or the Bears and Commanders?
Yeah.
Washington and Chicago. Yeah.
It's going to be very similar, I think.
I don't know. I think Mariota can fucking roll it up on them.
Was he going to finally throw to his tight end that's like an elite level tight end that he doesn't know is an elite level tight end?
Well, yeah, I'll go with Atlanta. What do you guys think?
I'm also going to take Atlanta. I think it's a 50-50 draw.
Yeah, I'm gonna go opposite. I'll go the Panthers. It's supposed to be terrible weather tomorrow.
Okay, let's go. Let's move on to the Los Angeles Chargers at the Niners. I'm going to go with the Niners in Santa Clara on a Sunday night. I think that's where I'm going to go with that. You guys?
I'm probably going to agree because I don't think Mike Williams is playing. I don't think Keenan Allen's playing still. So
No, yeah.
I'm probably going to go with the Niners. McCaffrey going to run all over the Chargers.
see.
I'll take San Francisco at home.
There you go.
You're going to take Santa Clara at home?
Oh, yes. Santa Clara, sorry.
Santa Clara Niners.
Santa Clara at home. Drew, let's go ahead. Eagles and Commanders. Come on, dude. Who you gonna pick, man?
He's
Who
not
gonna
gonna pick the
Who you gonna go
Eagles.
with?
I'm not going to pick the Eagles. Fuck them Eagles, man.
Tyler Heineke's gonna roll into town and
Heineke,
make some
boy.
moves.
That's right. McLaren, my boy, many men. They're going to do it.
Oh, God.
I mean, it is tempting. It is tempting kind of to go the other way because, I mean, the Eagles didn't look all that great against the Texans, right? That was the last Thursday night football game.
They haven't looked all that great against a lot of teams.
I mean, they kind of did contain Jalen Hurts a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna still go with the Eagles. I think they'll have a good game. I'll see what you think, man.
Yeah, dude, come on. Let's ride with the midseason MVP, Jalen Hurts.
Tyreek's
There
not
you
playing
go.
on Monday.
Hey, he's up there, bro. He might hit 2,000 yards. He might.
I
hope he does.
He's going to. He's gonna.
Hey,
he's gonna have to be in the conversation.
And then
Hey,
Tua
it-
still gets zero credit.
I know. Everyone's kind of like still waiting for him to have another bad game or get hurt so they can be like, yeah, see, we told you. But let me tell you, when he started and finished the game, he's 6-0 this year. So
That is true. The Tua with the West Side.
you know, bro, come on. Still spinning the ride.
All right, you want to go ahead and close this out, Drew?
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. You can come back to this channel next week, and hopefully we can talk about how the Commanders beat the Eagles. And I'll throw more shade reference at more Eagle fans.
There you go. All right, man. Thanks for guys for watching. We'll catch you guys.